Did you miss the recent presidential debate? If so, you missed some serious fireworks over taxes that could change the economy forever. We're talking about thousands of dollars here. What if I told you that one of the candidates wants to put a $6,000 check in your pocket for having kids, while another candidate wants to cut the corporate tax rate from 21% down to 15%, putting millions of dollars back in business owners' pockets? Well, if you missed out on a debate, then you came to the right place. Today, we're going to be talking about everything that you missed tax-wise and how these new tax policies can impact your life and impact your wallet. All that plus more coming up in today's episode. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So, tax policy change number one is the battle over the child tax credit. During the debate, both candidates came out swinging with their plans for the future child tax credit. Kamala Harris said she wants to increase the child tax credit from $2,000, where it is today, to $3,600 per child for children under 6 and $3,000 per child for children over 6. Part number two absolutely blew my mind. She also wants to add an extra $2,400 tax credit for newborns in their first year. This means that if you were to have a new child, you would get a $3,600 tax credit plus a $2,400 tax credit, accumulating to a total of $6,000 for a newborn child. That is absolutely crazy. And what if I told you it gets better? Not only will you get $6,000 tax credit for newborn children, she wants to make the tax credit 100% refundable. Refundable tax credits mean that even if you have a $0 tax bill, you can get that $6,000 in a check in your pocket. So even if you had to pay no taxes, no tax bill, but you had a child, that $6,000 will come directly into your pocket. So imagine having twins. You hear me? Imagine having twins. You could be getting a $12,000 check deposited in your bank account. This is the largest child tax credit we've ever seen in history. So if this was to get passed, this would be absolutely crazy. Now, Trump did have something to say in regards to the child tax credit. He said he wants to increase the child tax credit from $2,000 just to a flat $5,000 per child. However, he didn't mention if the credit will be refundable or not. So although the credit will increase, it wouldn't increase to as much as Kamala Harris wants to increase it, and he didn't mention anything about making it refundable. He did mention that he would make the individual tax cuts from his 2017 law permanent, which did come with a lot of tax credits and deductions that can help middle income and low income households. So who won when it comes to the child tax credit? I'll let you decide, okay? This is not a my opinion episode. This is I'm giving you all information episode, okay? So, number two. Now let's talk about the battle over the corporate tax rates. This one had everybody talking because this one will probably affect the economy the most. So, Harris and Trump could not be further apart when it comes to taxing big businesses. This is where things got really heated in debate. So Kamala Harris wants to raise the corporate tax rate from 21%, where it's at currently, to 28%. While Donald Trump wants to take the corporate tax rate from 21% down to 20% and down to 15% for companies that manufacture in the United States. So Kamala Harris wants it at 28%. Donald Trump wants it down to 20 or 15%, depending on what type of business you have. Now, here's why each of the candidates have their stance. Kamala Harris says that her plan of increasing rates from 21% to 28% could generate nearly $5 trillion in additional revenue for the government over the next 10 years. This money could be used for infrastructure, education, and other programs that could benefit all Americans. However, we know how irresponsible our government can be with our tax money. So just because they get an extra $5 million, $5 trillion, it does not mean that they're going to use it correctly. Now, some of you are probably asking, like, well, Carter, how could Donald Trump's plan of lowering the corporate tax rate help stimulate the economy at all, right? Because the money would just go in big companies' pockets. Well, Trump's lower tax rate could potentially lead to businesses now having more money to reinvest. They can use this money to create more jobs, and creating jobs will help stimulate the economy. Not to mention that they can use some of this money for stock share buybacks. And when a company buys back their shares, it increases their stock price. And if you're invested in the company in your retirement plan or your 401k or even your brokerage account, that can increase your investments. So it really comes down to the following, right? Who do you trust more with the money? Do you trust the extra $5 trillion in the government's hand for them to spend it correctly? Or do you trust the extra $5 trillion in small business owner or big businesses' hands where they can increase jobs, reinvest, and do share buybacks, which would increase our stock market, right? Who do you trust more? Some of y'all are like, I don't trust neither one of them. I trust myself. And I feel you, okay? So now moving on to the next topic, which was small business deductions, right? And this is really huge because this is probably what's going to affect most of you all that listen to our channel, right? Being a small business owner, how will these new tax policies affect me and my tax bill as a small business owner? What's up, family? Are you ready to make more in 2024? I'm talking make more money, pay less taxes, and get access to more capital? If so, I want you to join our 100% free masterclass where we're going to be teaching you all of these strategies so you can keep more money in your pocket and you can make your money make money for you. So if you want to be a part of this amazing free class, all you have to do is click the link below and save your spot. The problem is we only have 50 seats. So I will pause this episode, go register, and come back to it after so that you can save your seat for this masterclass. Other than that, I'll see you inside the class. Let's get back to the episode. So both candidates had some very interesting proposals here. Let's start with Kamala Harris. She wants to increase the startup tax deductions for small businesses from $5,000 to $50,000, which could be really huge. But like, what does this actually mean? Because I see a lot of people getting confused. They're like, well, you mean to tell me that small businesses are going to get a $50,000 check or that she's trying to give us a $50,000 tax credit? No, that's not what this means. Let me break it down. So currently, when you start a new business, you get to write off up to $5,000 of startup costs that it costs you to start up your business. The problem with that is when the SBA did a study, they found that the average small business's startup cost to really get a business off the ground is $40,000. So right now, there is a $35,000 discrepancy. So if you start a business and you spend $40,000 of startup costs, currently what happens is you get to write off $5,000 in this year, and the other $35,000 will get amortized over the next 15 years, which means you get to take a piece every year for the next 15 years until it runs out. That can cause a problem because a lot of small business owners want to take their deductions the same year. So with Kamala Harris's plan, you'll be able to write off $50,000 of startup costs, which would be more realistic for people that want to start a small business. And this could increase the amount of small businesses in the United States, which would obviously increase jobs and things like that. So that is Kamala Harris's plan. And I think that actually could be helpful for a lot of business owners. Now, Trump's plan is a little bit different, and his plan is to renew most of the small business deductions from his 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. And for as many of you know, the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act created some major, and I mean major deductions for small business owners. It changed the game for us from 100% bonus depreciation on equipment to introducing the QBI deduction, which gave small business owners an immediate 20% tax deduction on their qualified business income. That was huge. So basically, with the QBI deduction, if your business made $100,000, you will get a $20,000 write-off off the top, right? Which was just dramatic for business owners. Now, the problem is the QBI deduction is going to be phased out by the end of 2025, right? And as you all know, that the bonus depreciation is already phasing out year over year. It used to be 100%. In 2023, it was 80%. In 2024, it's 60%. In 2025, it's going to be 40%. In 2026, it's going to be 20%. In 2027, it's going to be completely phased out. So Trump said if he's elected back in office, he's going to renew all of these major tax breaks from his 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. And he also wants to allow small businesses to immediately deduct their expenses on research and development. So that is the tax policies for small business owners. I think these could be huge for all of us. Now, let's finish off with the last major policy that I saw. And this is shocking because this was the only thing that they agreed on. Okay? And what they agreed on was no taxes on tips for our workers in the hospitality space, bartenders, whatever. So they agreed on no taxes for tips. So as you can imagine, this would be huge for the restaurant industry. This would be huge for the club industry with bartenders. This would be huge for the nightlife industry with bottle girls. So they said that they both agreed that they don't want individuals paying taxes on tips, which could dramatically lower their tax bill. So I can see some servers and bartenders perking up because before you get too excited, remember we don't have full details on this. They could say that it's not taxed up to a certain income limit, but I think they both agreed on no taxes on tips. Now, no, there are a lot more policies that they discussed during the debate. I just wanted to talk about the highlights. Now, I'm curious to know, which of these do you think will impact the economy the most? And based on these tax policies, who do you think has the right mindset when it comes to our tax policies in the future? Whether it's Kamala Harris, whether it's Donald Trump, I want you to let me know who you think won the presidential debate, specifically when it comes to the tax policies for our future. So comment below in the chat, and please hit that subscribe button if you want more information on things like this, and if you want me to keep you up to date on the policies that's coming down the line with our presidential race being so close. Other than that, guys, I'll see you on the next episode.